Chapter 12, Section 3, E-Prescriptions by Matt Glover. Electronic prescriptions. E-prescriptions are computer-generated prescriptions created by your healthcare provider and sent directly to your pharmacy. Electronic prescriptions are often linked to EMR systems to automatically generate prescriptions and send them to pharmacies. E-prescribing is a prescriber's ability to electronically send an accurate, error-free, and understandable prescription directly to a pharmacy from the point of care. It is an important element in improving the quality of patient care. How does it work? So here's a picture of the e-prescription process, and I'm sure that this does not help at all in explaining how it works, but I'll go into all the details of this little flow chart. But basically, instead of writing out your prescription on a piece of paper, your doctor or healthcare provider enters it directly into their computer, and then your prescription travels from your doctor or other healthcare provider's computer to the pharmacy's computer. E-prescriptions are sent electronically through a private, secure, and closed network. Prescriber. First, a system user, clinician, or staff signs into a system through a verification process, authenticating their identity. The standard authentication requires username and password, although other technologies like Secure ID, digital certificates, or fingerprint readers are available. Once authenticated, the system provides functionality specific to a user's role and authorization level. Different user types have different legal permissions to enter or review or modify prescriptions. And this comes into play when they try to edit stuff, as they'll tell them if they're allowed to or not. The prescriber identifies the patient record within the e-prescribing system. Records can be identified by typing in identifying information to the e-prescribing system. If the e-prescribing system is connected to the practice management system, the e-prescribing system can recognize all patient records matching the day's schedule, providing a simple way of accessing relevant patient records. Prescriber functions. So some of the functions include the following. They review patients' current medication list and medication history information within the practice. They work with an existing medication within the practice. And this can involve viewing details of a medication, removing a medication from the active medication list, changing the dose, etc. for a medication, or renewing one or more medications. They also prescribe or add new medication and select the pharmacy where the prescription will be filled. And after all this, the information is then sent to the transaction hub, where information on the patient eligibility formulary and medication history or fill status is sent back to the prescriber. Transaction hub. The transaction hub is the most common link between the prescriber, pharmacy, and pharmacy benefits manager, PBM. It maintains a master patient index and list of pharmacies, and it routes inquiries to the PBM and prescriptions to the pharmacy. Once the transaction hub receives the patient demographics and medication from the prescriber, it will verify the patient against the master patient index, sending an electronic message to the PBM. In response, the PBM will send information on the patient eligibility, formulary, and medication history back to the transaction hub. Transaction hub continued. After all this, the transaction hub sends this information back to the prescriber, who makes a decision about the prescription based on this information. They then complete the prescription and authorize it. They electronically sign it. They then transmit prescriptions and choose print, fax, or transmit options in real time or batch mode. Then print, format, and prescription conforming to state regulations, and they handle restrictions on certain medications. They then ensure the prescription is sent to the preferred patient pharmacy, identified by practice staff prior to interaction with the prescriber. Pharmacy. Once the pharmacy receives the prescription data from the transaction hub, it provides confirmation back to the transaction hub. All pharmacy systems are enabled to send messages back to the provider offices, letting them know that a prescription has been filled. Systems are changing so that a message can be sent back indicating if a patient picks up their prescriptions or if the patient is late picking up it. This can help prescribers and patients Benefits. So the first benefit is it's very fast. Your prescription arrives at your pharmacy before you even leave your doctor's office. And it also streamlines the refills requests and authorization processes. Refill authorization from the pharmacy can be a completely automated process, and refills can usually be generated in one click. The pharmacist generates a refill request authorization that is delivered through the network to the provider system, and then the provider reviews the request, approves or denies it, and then the pharmacy system is immediately updated. It's also convenient because you don't have to make an extra trip to drop off your prescription at the pharmacy. It's legible because there's no handwriting for the pharmacist to interpret. It's economical because it makes it easier for your doctor to prescribe the most cost-effective medication based on your insurance coverage and financial implications. And it also improves reporting ability because the query reporting may be performed, which would be impossible with the paper prescription system. And a common example of this would be like finding all patients who have a certain medicine prescribed to them during a drug recall and the frequency of medication prescribed by certain providers. And here are the sources and credits. Creator of introduction and closing videos and PowerPoint presentation is me, Matt Glover, and then under that are the links that I use for the information presented in this PowerPoint.